Paros, the year 2125. Few would have expected the world order to unravel in the final years of the 21st century. But in hindsight, the signs were always there. What once seemed like the speculation of a handful of pragmatic idealists has become reality. Tourism, once the island's lifeblood, is now a distant memory. The industry faded long ago, leaving behind empty hotels and abandoned shops. A few old photographs remain, faded, forgotten images from before the virtual age, but they offer little more than glimpses of a world that no longer exists. Over the past decades, magnetic storms, deliberately triggered by the ruling powers, wiped out millions of digital records. Much of history has simply disappeared, leaving behind fragments and half-truths. A dying island. Once home to nearly 20,000 people, Paros now holds only a fraction of that number, about 1,000, most of whom work under harsh conditions. Villages stand largely abandoned, their buildings crumbling as the years pass. The island's iconic white chapels, once scattered across the hills, have been left to decay. Religion has been outlawed, and without upkeep, the once brilliant facades have faded into a dull, lifeless gray. The grand villas that once belonged to the wealthy have fallen into despair. Some serve as makeshift shelters, and at night, small fires flicker through broken windows, signs of quiet survival rather than comfort. From a distance, the ruined houses appear like hollowed-out shells, empty and forgotten. After dark, few venture outside. Packs of stray dogs, larger and wilder than before, roam the streets in search for food. Their presence is a reminder that nature, too, is adapting to the island's decline. The Tower. At some point, a tower appeared on the island. No one knows exactly when it was built or by whom. One day, it was simply there, a dark, looming structure overlooking the old harbor. This was once the island's busiest hub, where yachts and ferries arrived daily, spilling thousands of visitors onto its shores. Now, the only ships that dock here are gray industrial freighters, coming and going without fanfare. They take on cargo from massive transport trucks, their engines burning a phosphorus-heavy fuel that stains the sky in a yellowish haze. The air is thick with his smell, a constant reminder of the industry that now dominates the island. It all started at the turn of the century, when the world's lithium and copper mines were depleted. In search of new resources, the global powers turned to places like Paros. The copper mines and the slaves. Beneath the island's layer of marble and granite, a rich copper deposit was discovered. The demand for cheap labor soon followed. Workers were brought in from the mainland, recruited from vast, overcrowded cities where opportunities were scarce. Many were young, with few prospects, taken from the streets and sent to Paros and other mining sites across the Cyclades. Conditions were difficult. Food shortages were common, and the work was physically punishing. There were no set breaks, no rest periods, only quotas to meet and shifts that stretched for as long as a worker could endure. A life without recognition. When laborers collapsed from exhaustion or malnutrition, they simply disappeared from the system. No graves, no records, just a quiet erasure. Survival depended on the rations provided by the authorities, compressed green wafers of unknown origin. Tough, bland, and slightly bitter, they were the only reliable source of sustenance. Each one was stamped with an inscription. Of the people. Turn it over, and on the other side, for the people. No one asked what they were made of. Some questions weren't worth the risk. I've seen the future, brother. It is murder. Leonard Cohen, 1992. Text and painting by Peter Maken. Read by Jason.